Hey friends, my name is Ben. I'm a leader in Wanakee, and I have a confession to make. There's a very common question that I think needs to change. I'm not a big fan of the question, what's your favorite anything? Color, ice cream flavor, favorite sport, whatever. I almost always skirt around that question because I don't want to be pinned down to one answer. I mean, okay, who's my favorite historical figure? I've got one, Jesus. But what's my favorite song on the Frozen 2 soundtrack? Well, yesterday I would have said, "This will all make sense when I am older." But today, I am lost in the woods. Whereas tomorrow, into the unknown. Bottom line, don't make me choose just one favorite. I can't do it. So if I get that question, I'll usually reframe it. What's my favorite color? Well, it's really the whole palette that makes every color meaningful, but today I'm feeling sort of turquoise. Tonight, we're going to read a passage from the Bible, from the book of Mark, where Jesus gets a question sort of like this. He has been fielding a bunch of questions, and he's killing it. And then someone steps in to ask, well, let's take a look. One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, of all the commandments, which is the most important? Oh boy, this guy is gonna get it. I know exactly how Jesus should answer this question. You want me to pick one? Wrong question. There are 613 commandments in the 5 books of instruction, the Torah at the beginning of the Bible, and there's so much interwoven wisdom, every command speaking to every other command, and you want me to pick the most important? A better question might be, what are some of the themes that help tie the commandments together? Now that we could talk about, so sit with me for a few hours. Oh man, I am so glad that Jesus thinks just like me. He's gonna nail it. Let's keep reading. The most important one, answered Jesus, is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Oh, crap. I was way off. Jesus liked this guy's question, and he answered it not just with one, but with a top 2 in ranked order. Jesus says these are the most important words of direction for those who live for God. And since Jesus is the most important person ever to walk the planet, I want to pay close attention. So tonight we're launching a 4-week series called Most Important, where we're drilling into Jesus' response to this question. Jesus gives a number 1 and a number 2. We'll take 3 weeks to chew on his number 1, and then we'll take 1 week to talk about a side of the second one that we think is particularly significant for us in home group. Let's get started at the top of Jesus' list. The most important instruction is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. Now tonight we're zooming in on the first phrase. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Entire libraries have been written about this phrase. Let's pull it apart, unpack it, tease out its meaning just a little bit. When it says the Lord, that comes from God's personal name in Hebrew, Yahweh, which means He will be. This God is the one who was and is and will be. And God's existence doesn't depend on anyone or anything else. This God simply is. And so when it says the Lord is one, that's saying there's no one like Yahweh. He's the only one who just is. The God who rescued us from slavery in Egypt is greater than all other beings and things put together. Nothing and no one else compares. The response of His people is to hear, listen up, pay attention, and if you're truly listening, you'll act accordingly. There's no separate word for obey in Hebrew. It's just one word, listen. And when we really listen, it shapes our lives. So, if we were to rephrase it, it might sound something like this. Listen up, God's people. Yahweh, our God, who was and is and will be, there's no one like Him. So respect Him and follow His guidance. All right, let me make one observation and then ask us one question. Here's the observation. For Jesus, the first and most important thing is for us to pay attention to who God is. Wow. The very first thing is not a rule. It's a person. It's a king who guides us. And because of Jesus, He's more than king. He's friend. King slash friend slash creator. Wow. How amazing that the first thing is to pay attention. That's something anyone can do. Lend your ear to Yahweh. Awesome. Now, here's the question. What's most important for you? If a news reporter went with you everywhere for a week and they observed how you spent your time and they interviewed you and talked about the things you value, at the end of that week and that interview, what might they say is most important to you? And how would our lives change if this phrase were most important to us wherever we go?